Good morning, Paul. How you doing? Happy Easter. We still say Happy Easter?
I think so. It's not like New Year. Well, I
No.
think you can say it for a day, and that's about it. But any longer, no, no,
Yeah.
that's
No.
no good.
And did you have a good Easter weekend?
I had a tremendous Easter weekend. I'm doing the marathon in just under 3 weeks, and this was long. Did I tell you this is long run weekend? So you have to run for 30K. And what was brilliant was because 30K running is really, really boring.
Yeah.
But at the halfway point, I just happened to be at the location of a park run at 5 to 9, and park runs start at 9 o'clock. So for I joined in the park run, which took away some of the tedium of the 30K. So it was like, they call it a park run sandwich, where you run to a park run,
Ah,
do the park run, then run home afterwards.
really? And how are you feeling after it?
Do you know what? I'm actually feeling totally fine. Yeah, yeah. So the training is working, and
Yeah.
the training. We talk about AI a lot. The training was powered by
Oh, was it?
ChatGPT, and a lot of people are doing this. They put
Yeah.
their stuff into ChatGPT, and I take all my tips, for better or for worse, from ChatGPT.
Is there any tips you've taken from ChatGPT? GP, I can't even say it.
Blah, blah, blah.
ChatGPT that you would not recommend.
I think the only thing I've noticed is I set it a goal time, and it kind of gave me a credible plan to reach that goal. I cross-checked the plan with actual humans, and they said, yes, that sounds about right. But then at some point, for some reason, it kind of gave up on my goal
Hmm?
and seemed to be setting me a less strenuous goal. And I don't know why that was. And
Yeah.
so we had a bit of a conversation, and it's now back on track. So I think like everything, we talk about human first, human last with AI. And it's the same, I think, with running my marathon. You've just got to check in with real people
Yeah.
just to make sure that you're not being taken down a wrong route.
Yeah, it's always that sense check, isn't it, with AI?
Yes.
Making sure it's on the right track, pardon the pun, if you're
Yes,
running.
exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. And how about you? Did you get some well-deserved and much-needed rest?
Do you know what I did? Last week I was flagging a bit as we went into the
You were.
Easter break. Needed a bit of bit of family time and a bit of time away. And actually, it's done just the trick, to be honest. I had some nice time with family over the weekend, and today, this week, feeling really refreshed. Yeah, good, good. I'm ready got lots of energy for the next phase, the next term of work. So it's good.
Excellent. Good to
Yeah.
hear. Good to hear. So tell me what you've observed over
Well,
recent days.
I'm going to get tactical, Paul. So I'm going to talk about out of home ads. They are my favourite form of kind of tactical, marketing tactic kind of channel. Essentially, I love seeing what people do on them. I love the approach and the creativity people take to them to get the message across. And I was going to talk about B&Q. So obviously, this is the time of the year when everyone's going back out again. They're thinking about DIY. People like yourself are doing runs, thinking about the marathon. And so out of home actually is still as relevant today as it's always been. People are still going out and about and visiting places. So it's a really vital part of the mix if that's where your audience is and you think you can make an impact and you've got the budget. B&Q do it. They nail it. They nail that form because it's not like a lot of other channels out of home in that people might only be whizzing past 6 seconds and then get 6 seconds to kind of take in what is on that ad. So you have to be really clever about what you put in there. And if you're a bigger brand with more kind of brand equity and more awareness, it's probably slightly easier. But the key is using really key brand distinctive assets straight away, so people understand when they're whizzing past who that is, but also being quite clever and playful with wordplay and using as few words as possible, because you don't get long to take it in, but you need to get a message across in a really kind of clever way. And B&Q, around this time of year, they're obviously always launching their kind of big campaigns. They nail it, and they use that word "nail it" or within the context of some of their ads. But they bring to life obviously some of the elements of DIY within the ads really cleverly and in a really playful way. So their latest ad has got kind of paint samples names in the ad, sort of cleverly used against the orange background. Obviously, that's their core brand colour, isn't it?
Mm.
And they just absolutely nailed. But you do see really bad examples of how out of home use. Lots of text, lots of trying to promote kind of products in a really kind of convoluted way, to price on and that kind of thing. And that out of home, unless you're in a place where there's dwell time and that you can be you can be a bit more prescriptive. You've got to be really kind of succinct in how you get your message across, and really clever. And I just think B&Q absolutely nailed it.
So plaudits to B&Q.
Yeah.
Did they encourage you to actually go and buy some nails?
They do. They make you think. They do. They haven't encouraged me to buy yet, but the process of consideration is well in play, Paul. So I'm already thinking about what I need to move my kids' sandpit in the garden from one place to the other, and what I might need. And B&Q at the moment is at the forefront of my mind. So they're doing it well. They're smashing it.
Excellent. Great to
Yeah.
hear.
What about you? What have you seen?
Well, here's a mathematical challenge for you, Warren. I don't know how good your maths is, but I'm a big fan of Maltloaf, and I popped into my local Morrison's, food of the gods.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So I popped in, and Maltloaf have done a lot of good things recently. SOREEN Maltloaf I'm talking about. I've done a lot of good things, including introducing lots of different pack sizes. So what do you reckon you would buy if you're confronted with a shelf with a family pack of SOREEN Maltloaf for £1.75, or a regular pack for £1?
What would I do? What decision would I make?
Well, which do you think is the better value, I suppose, is the question I'm really asking.
Well, your instinct, right, is the family pack, £1.75, because you're thinking you're getting maybe double the amount that you would get in a normal size pack. And so therefore you think you'd be getting more value for money. But the cynic in me is thinking, actually, you're probably not getting double the amount. You're maybe getting a third extra, potentially. And so actually the better value is probably the pound version. But instinctively, I think the family pack.
Well, would it help if the shelf sticker said that the family pack was 44.9p per 100 grams, whilst the regular pack is £3.85 per kilogram?
This is not my strong point, Paul. It probably wouldn't help me in many regards, because I'm trying to.
You see, and this is the problem, because you're dead right. You would think buy in bulk, better value, and usually you would be right. And you think, there's a price deal on the regular pack. It's only £1, reduced from £1.60. Oh, that looks like a good deal. Then you look at the per unit price, and for whatever reason, one unit price is per 100 grams and one is per kilogram.
That's to make you not really think how much value. Yeah.
Is it cock up or is it conspiracy? Because actually, if you do the maths, and it's not easy maths because the pack sizes are 390 grams and 260 grams, you find out that the regular smaller pack is £3.85 per kilogram, and the family pack at that moment was £4.49 per kilogram. So quite a significant difference.
Wow. Do you know, this is going to change my chocolate.
The point being that as marketeers, if price is within our control, at least in terms of perhaps setting the wholesale price, it comes out of our control. It's a joint endeavour when we get to the retailer, because clearly Morrison's have got a big role to play in deciding the actual shelf price. And in this instance, as a customer, I'm not really making the difference between Morrison's and SOREEN. I'm just seeing SOREEN, I'm seeing confusing pricing, and I'm thinking, is this just a bit of a mess up, or are they trying to confuse me? I'm sure it's a mess up, but trust is a very delicate thing. And so the point I took out of that is that as marketeers, we've got to keep an eye on price all the way through to the point of sale, because even though we might have price architecture clearly mapped out on a bit of paper, it's at the point of sale where we can actually see the reality. And if you're not careful, you can lose trust. And there are ways around that. I think SOREEN has done a brilliant job by branding the bigger pack as the family pack. And usually the price differentials are appropriate. But in this instance, it got a bit messed up. And I ended up walking out with three regular packs as opposed to 2 family packs, and saved a bit of money.
Did you?
It shouldn't have been as hard as it was.
This is fascinating, because I've been thinking about price a lot lately, as you do. And
as you do, yeah.
In the current climate, it's really important, isn't it? People are looking at this stuff. or maybe they're not when they're in, kind of making a instinctive decision when they're on looking at the shelf and they're in the shop. But people are really worried about, their shopping, the price of shopping, particularly now, like you say. So it is really important that marketers stay close to it. It's one of the 4 Ps, right? It's essential.
It's essential. And I think if you're the retailer, and perhaps many are doing this, I don't know, you would, I think, get credit from your customers for flagging deals like that and saying, if your value is what you want, buy that one, and being super clear about the price. And part of that is making sure that the price per unit is consistent so that you can make that comparison.
And just to say, this probably isn't just SOREEN doing it, right? This is probably lots of other brands you see in the shop doing a similar thing.
Yeah, and like I say, I'm not sure whether it was deliberate or accidental.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. I think it's a challenge that goes across category.
And can I ask you a question on SOREEN Maltloaf? Because I love it as well, Paul. We've got a kinship there around that. But why is the pre-sliced SOREEN never as good as the kind of just the loaf, the normal loaf? I always find it just never tastes as good.
Well, you got me. Well, interesting thing here, because I know quite a lot about Maltloaf as a user.
Yeah.
The interesting that the regular appears to be slightly different shape to the family pack.
Yeah.
And the family pack is actually, in my opinion, better. The sliced one, who pays, and if you do, shame on you, who pays to have their Maltloaf pre-sliced? You've got a knife, for goodness sake, and the pre-slicing never works. You always have to finish it off because it doesn't always go all the way through the loaf. So you're paying a huge premium to have someone else badly slice your Maltloaf. So just pay less and do it yourself.
Just trying to save 30 seconds, but really it doesn't really save you that much
time. It doesn't save you anything. Just makes you cross that you spent more for some chopping that doesn't... Because Maltloaf is very hard to slice.
Do you think a marketer came up with that product, Paul? Do you think that was done in collaboration?
Yeah, I wonder. Someone said there's a need here. There's a need. No, I think it's convention, isn't it? Because you get these sliced loaves, and it's good. It is definitely good for big loaves of brown bread.
Yeah,
where you need a very long knife if you're going to cut it successfully.
Yeah.
But Maltloaf, it's tiny by comparison, and their knives in the SOREEN factory are not as good as a decent kitchen knife.
I love that you brought up Maltloaf, Paul. It's my favourite. It's my favourite snack and treat. So yeah, love that. Maybe we should think some more in that field of things we've got in common. And,
yes.
And what have you got coming up over the next week or so, Paul?
What have I got coming up over the next week or so? That is a very good question. What I am doing is, I'm very excited about this. I've been invited to talk to some students at Tilburg University in the Netherlands in a couple of weeks. Yeah, a couple of weeks. And I'm going to talk to them about what it takes to build a smarter marketing organization. And I thought I might test some of my ideas out on you before then.
Yeah, can.
Things that might help build a smarter marketing organization. Number one, decide what you will not do. And this is all about contracting with the business to say what they can expect to get from marketing and what they cannot expect. And this is brought into a bit of clarity a couple of weeks ago when I was speaking to a marketing team about this. And they said, no, we don't do portfolio strategy. Portfolio strategy is done by a different group within the organization and handed to marketing. But what we do is we commercialize the portfolio priorities that have been agreed. So that sort of thing, you've got to agree that up front. What do you think about number one?
I think it's a great idea because it's the thing you never talk about. You always talk about what you can do, don't you? And just from my experience, that contract isn't usually a discussion. It's a little bit of an awkward discussion. Marketers probably never feel like they want to say what they can't do because you want to add value, right? But I think it's a useful thing to discuss as long as you're doing it in context of what you add value to. Say what you're not doing, because you're all being super, super clear about kind of where your value lies and the things that you won't be adding value to. I've seen so many times where marketers get pulled into things where you shouldn't be.
Completely agree. A bit like pricing, where in some instances marketers maybe influence pricing, but they don't have control of it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. there's lots of grey areas in marketing where marketers could play a role, right? But it's like how much of a role you play potentially, or actually do you just give that to X team over there?
Yeah, exactly. And then number two, there are 6 of these, but I'm only doing 2 today. Number 2, things to build a smarter marketing organization. Design your operating model once a year. And importantly, the key thing there is redesign, because what we're recognizing is that operating models are no longer one and done, and you can then just sort of refine the model for the next 3 years or so. You've actually got to look at it root and branch once a year and say, have we got the right operating model to meet the needs of the business and to reflect what's happening out there in terms of the way consumers are finding a path to products.
And to be super clear, Paul, for listeners who are maybe new to this or want to understand operating models, what we talk about operating models specifically.
So in terms of what goes into an operating model, it would be the structure of the marketing team, the roles and responsibilities within that team. It would be the ways of working, so the core processes. It'd be the skills that people need to have, technology they use, the data which is being utilized, and the relationships with specialist partners like agencies. And it would also include the culture within the marketing team and the leadership of that team.
And and when you're doing that review once a year, how much time should you spend kind of reviewing that, tweaking it, changing things? Do you think, or does it depend? How long's a piece of string, I suppose?
I think it's a one day away day job. Take a day, look at it, almost like a zero-based budget. And if you end up making 10% of change, fine. But if you end up making 25% or 30%, that's probably more what you need to do. And I don't mean that teams need to reorganize every year.
Yeah.
But I just think you need to think about things as if you were going to once a year to be completely sure that you're keeping pace with the change that's happening in the wider world.
Yeah. It feels more relevant now, doesn't it, than ever? The sort of speed of change and uncertain environments and everything. So I completely agree. Yeah.
And how about you, Warren? What does the albeit truncated week have ahead for you?
Yeah, no, nice couple of weeks because we've just had our Royal Albert Hall shows, which was a very busy period at Teenage Cancer Trust, which were fantastic. And hopefully, the numbers aren't through yet, but lots of money raised and things for young people with cancer. So it's brilliant. Now's a period, the next few weeks of kind of looking ahead and resetting, starting to look kind of early ahead to next year's shows, but also it's a good reset moment to get things in order, get your admin straight, kind of get a little bit of thinking time. There's lots of people off on leave as well. So just trying to get things set up for the kind of next phase of some campaigns we've got all coming up. So I'm looking ahead to things like that, which is great when you need that time, don't you?
Excellent. I love it.
Yeah.
It's spring. You've had the Jan, Feb, March, really busy. That's behind you. You are re-energized for the summer months.
100%. 100%.
Love
look
it.
forward to letting you know more next week.
Fantastic. Catch you then.
Thanks, Paul. Have a good one.